That's happening now. And we're recording. So good morning, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Wherever you are in the world, it's great to have you on the call this morning and this evening. And it's so hard to get out of that, isn't it? Good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. So welcome to this SFIO, Solution Focus in Organizations Global Chapter. It's really great to see lots of old friends and lots of new people as well. So hopefully you will become friends. And just to say, if during the crisis, we're running a regular 1 hour meeting at this time, the SFIO Fika, we call it. So if you'd like to come along and join that, you can find the publicity for that in our LinkedIn group, in our Facebook groups, etc., etc. So please come and join us. You'll be very welcome. So I am delighted today to welcome Annette Gray and Pete. Is it Peter or Pete?
Peter.
Peter. Peter. So I'm really delighted to welcome Annette and Peter today to talk about the charity organization called Cantu and the work that they're doing, and Annette's personal journey with them and how she noticed it was SF. So Annette, I'm going to hand over to you now and enjoy the session, both of you, please.
Great. Thank you. Look, I'll introduce Peter as well before I put the slides up. But yes, this is going to be a personal story of learning to ocean swim with an organisation called Cantu, who are a charity but also train people for events, for swimming, ocean swimming events, for half marathons, so fitness programs attached to raising money for cancer research. So I'm going to sort of be going half the time, then I'm going to throw it over to you guys to answer some questions, and we'll go into breakout rooms, and then questions that you want to pose to Peter around how they set up this organisation to be this amazing community and this amazing culture. And it wasn't until I was in my big swim I did in January that I was reflecting on what made Cantu work. And I went, oh my goodness, all these elements, wouldn't that be great if that was all transferred over into an organisation and helping people grow and develop and reach challenging goals. So this is the story of how I learned to ocean swim and all the elements of what makes Cantu work. So want to introduce you to Peter, and Peter's the CEO of Cantu and has been for 3 years now, Peter?
Almost.
Yep. And what's even more impressive is how Cantu has supported the Cantu community through COVID as well. So that they continue to impress me. And just this last sort of 3 months, I was a mentor on an ocean swim program as well that got cut short because of the coronavirus. So let me share my screen because I just want to share all the pictures of this wonderful experience. The catch cry, if I can, you can too, was sort of embedded in my memory from one of the wonderful people involved, Claire Robinson, and she is a team captain as part of Cantu. And that would be her opening at every training that we went to. If I can, you can too. And it's a lovely catchphrase cry that stays with you because it really challenges you just to go a bit, above and beyond. So this is the swim. I was reflecting because I had a lot of time to reflect because it was 2.8 kilometers. And it was an hour and 12 minutes it took me to do it. And that's where it came to me. And David Haynes, you'll be laugh at this. I was thinking, what am I going to present at the Solution Focus Conference in July, the Australasian one? And it all came to me while I was swimming. And so this whole presentation was meant to be at the Australasian Solution Focused Brief Therapy Conference in July. So I thought, it's all in my head, I might as well do it early instead, because that conference got postponed. So yeah, as I was reflecting, I went, what is it that makes this work? Because particularly the ocean, learning to ocean swim, because it's not only learning how to swim, but it's also, there's so many other elements that are taken into account. Is, if you can see by the pictures, you're a long way out. And, you know, there's a lot of things go through your head while you're swimming out there. And you wouldn't feel confident to be out there unless you'd been taken through this journey of the training and all the elements that make it work. So that's what I want to share with you in terms of what are some of the formula, what are some of the things that I saw were put into place that really, really made it work. So the first up was the training in the pool. So each week, it went over a 12-week period, and each week we trained in the pool, a formal training with a coach and mentors in the pool. And we did that for fitness training. And then we also did beach training. And the beach training was really important because prior to doing this program, I'd done ocean swims 2 years prior, but only short distances, because I didn't have the skills to get out through the waves. And that's the whole unpredictable thing about ocean swimming and doing events like this. You cannot be, you don't know what the conditions are going to be like. And it can be quite daunting just getting out. So a lot of the beach training that was held on a Saturday morning was about getting the confidence to go out through the waves and the breakers efficiently. So you had enough energy to actually finish that. And what I noticed at the pool and mostly at the beach sessions, there was people who did so many roles that supported you in this. This was the actual race. So you went off in waves of age groups and male and female to head out. And as you can see up at the top right is the actual event going around the headland and going on what it can be like going through around a buoy. So at the beach training, there was all this breaking down of the skills. And that's why I went, there's another clue that it's SF, because it was all broken down into components. So we learnt how to go around buoys efficiently when you're in a crowd, and not to stop. That was the big thing. Don't stop when you're going around a buoy, because you can actually cause a big collision. But the things that made it work are these people. And there was a whole lot of people playing different roles that actually helped you build your confidence to get to the end of the swim. So the coaches were the ones who were at the pool with you, but then all the coaches came to the beach as well. And we had a head coach at the beach who was always determining where we went in at the beach, whether we swam in the main beach or in this part called the basin. And then from those in Sydney, it's at Mona Vale Beach. And Mona Vale Beach is probably the roughest beach in Sydney, and generally very challenging conditions. But it's these wonderful people. If you look at the people in the middle, this picture here in the middle underneath the names, and we've got people who are the coach. So they actually at the beach would be head coach, and they'd tell you what you were doing. The other people in this shot are on the right, and the one in this picture here, Merrick, he is what's called a champion. So he's one of the chief motivators at the beach. So all he would do is hover near the edge of the water where the breakers were to make sure you got through safely back to shore when you were coming in. But he's always pushing you and helping you by just these motivating positive words that he'd say along the way. Then we have mentors. Jenny here's one with the white cap, which I was for the last program that ran which is a short, more gentler program. There are not many waves held at Balmoral Beach. It didn't end up going off. But the mentors are the ones that looked out for the people who were less confident or wanted someone to swim with. They were always looking for who, you know, was a bit hesitant and who would want support to swim. I didn't know any of this until I actually became a mentor and realized, oh my gosh, there's so many mechanics and people playing specific roles to make sure you're safe, because you imagine there's 40 people in the water at a time, that we don't lose anyone. So there's, you know, all these systems of counting off to make sure that you've got out and come back and that. But these roles were really important to actually help people who could only swim 50 meters, not even 50 meters to start with, but by the end of it, were able to swim 1K event or a 2-kilometer event. And the 2-kilometer training group ended up doing a 2.8 kilometer swim. The other point was each participant was to look out for each other as well. So each time you went in the water, you wanted to have a swimming buddy that was near you as well. And America is the one on the left, and KG is the one on the right. How many years, Peter, would they have been champions involved with Cantu?
10 or 11 or 12. Yep, they've got long service leave.
Yeah, that's right. So they keep coming back. It's amazing. They just go from program to program, supporting people to meet their fitness goals. So I wanted to show you this story. This is Ganesh. Ganesh was in the Balmoral program that didn't end up eventuating. It was meant to happen on the 5th of April. And Ganesh could not swim 50 meters before he started the program. And he was really scared of the water. And this was Balmoral. And so there were no waves at all. And people are still petrified going out, you know, a bit of a distance. But I want to show you this clip of Ganesh at the end. So we had a mock event because when we went down into lockdown, we managed to get the beach training in. So we quickly organized a mock swim. This is Ganesh reaching his goal. So it actually still brings a tear to my eye every time I watch that, because he was so scared the first time we swam at Balmoral, first training there. He had someone who swam with him for nearly every training, actually all training sessions. And then on that day, he did a 1-kilometer swim and the 2-kilometer swim. He did both. So it was amazing how someone going from not able to swim even a 50 meters to doing an event like that. It was amazing. That's the other element of what makes Cantu work, this sense of community. And even in the current time, I'm still swimming with many of these ladies in this shot on the left. We still go down to Mona Vale early in the morning to have a swim. And this sense of community, it twigged to me when I became mentor in this last program. Everyone was saying how many programs they've been involved in, and you're getting up there with, you know, 8, 9, some people have raised $30,000 for cancer research. So they've been in multiple programs. So it's like once people get a taste of this community, they don't want to leave. And that's why I was going, how do you bottle that? Like, what is it that's keeping people coming back to these events and challenging themselves, because it's hard work, the training that has to go into it. So as I said, a lot of us still do events, not only the formal events that Cantu trains us for, but we always sign up for other ocean swim events as well. And for me, this year's big swim, I would say would have to be my Olympic event, because I actually did it 2 years ago, and some of my ex-colleagues on the call will know that I got really badly seasick. I threw up 4 times through the event. It was really rough conditions, and I ended up in the paramedic tent at the end of the swim. So this is me, the one on the right in the bottom 2 shots and the one at the top. I could not take the smile off my face, because it was like, I did it. I didn't get sick. And I actually went back and did it again. I was so pleased. My husband was going, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? Compared to having to be carried off into the paramedic tent. And, you know, that shot on the top right says it all. Like, it's such a sense of community. So I want to actually share with you Annie Crawford, who was actually the founder of Cantu, and I've got a short video I want to show you of why she put it together, and also what are the values behind Cantu and what is the culture she was trying to create. And when you're listening to this, I want you to think, listen for what are the clues that are a resemblance to SF as you're listening to this clip.
Annette, we can't actually hear the sound, unfortunately.
Can't you?
No.
Can anyone else?
No. I've just some people. One person has said yes, but everybody else is saying no.
Okay, so let me just see if I put the volume up on my computer to see if that works. Sorry about that.
Yeah, Edwin is saying you have to share the system audio.
How do I do that?
Edwin, do you want to give us a clue how we share this system audio, or how Annette's system?
Okay, I think that as you are doing the share screen, right? I think there's a panel on top, and then there's the 3 dots. So I think if you click on the 3 dots, I think there is some.
I didn't hear what you said, Edwin. You're breaking up. Could you say again? I apologize to everyone. That's why we have this technical hitch. So.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, but I'm saying that as Annette shared the screen, right? There's a panel and there's the 3 dots. So if you click on the 3 dots, I think it allows you to share the system's audio.
So the 3 dots are on the panel where you press play. Is that what you're talking about, Edwin?
No, on the share screen.
On the share screen at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you click share screen, you should have a little button which will allow you to share your computer audio.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Well, I'll stop share and then I'll do it again. Sorry about this, folks. Yeah, still can't see. Let me just press play from here and see how, because I've put volume up in 2 places. Can you hear that?
I didn't really want to write a book.
Could you hear that? Is that better? John, was that better?
All I heard was I didn't really want to write a book. So
yeah, well, that's all I showed. Okay, so I've just found the 3 dots. Okay, so in that, share computer sound. Got it. Thank you. My apologies.
Thank you, Alan.
I didn't really want to write a book. I never thought of writing a book, but New Holland Publishing suggested that perhaps it might be a story that was worth sharing. So I thought, why not? Reflecting about Cantu, I've learned that you can't die of fear, which is how I felt when I first set up Cantu, because I was really scared that no one would even come along and ever do the program. I learnt that it's okay to take a risk, and that you can either live half a life, never take a risk, or you can make a decision to live a full life, be prepared to fail, or be prepared to potentially have success. My journey of setting up Cantu is a parallel to what it's like for a lot of people when they decide they're going to run a half marathon or do an ocean swim or make some massive change in their life. I never really thought about how it would grow. What I really thought about in the early days was the culture of the program and about giving back. I wanted the culture to be nurturing, fun, goal-oriented, and a place where you could face your fears and be prepared to admit that you might have them. Because really Cantu is a vehicle for personal transformation. What I didn't realise was that the culture would be adopted by so many people and that it would almost become viral. I can go around to a pod in Melbourne, Brisbane, Newcastle, Sydney, and people have taken ownership and they care about it and they're passionate about it. And that's something that I'm really proud of, and I'm happy to know that I'm dispensable. And not only me, the team and Susanna and all of the people that work for us and the coaches and the team captains and mentors. So we say our values are to inspire, motivate, support and empower our people. I think people want to give back. I think we know that being altruistic is good for our health. And in fact, we talk about the health is high. Research has shown that if you give back, you're actually a happier person, mentally better off and physically better off. I think also people are looking for a sense of belonging, and Cantu provides them with that. For some people, it's about raising money for cancer, specifically. For other people, it's about raising money for a cause. My incredible dad died at 51, 2 months after a diagnosis with cancer. The incredible, amazing Cantuers have raised over $17.5 million for research. They are changing the face of cancer outcomes in Australia by funding these brilliant young Australian researchers. It is a really lovely thing to honour my father. When Dad died, I was not a resilient person. I feel like learning to be resilient is such an important thing, and I think you can learn that through digging deep when you're out there running a marathon. I run because it is really good for my mental health. Running is such an easy way to get yourself out of a funk. All you need to do is put on a pair of shoes, run down the stairs, out the door, and you know that 20 or 30 minutes later you're going to feel better. It's not only about running, swimming or cycling that is daunting. They are also fundraising, and for a lot of Australians, that is just as fearful as doing a physical activity. What Cantu is all about is continuing to move beyond your comfort zone. I feel incredibly grateful to have it in my life and all the incredible people that I've met. It helps you see the good in humanity. Really, the Annie effect's a little bit of a cliche. It could easily be called the Cantu effect.
So, your turn now. We're wanting you to break into breakout rooms and have a conversation around these questions. What impressed you about what Cantu have done in terms of as an organisation and a community? What clues tells you this is a solution focus flavour or resemblance to solution focus? And what do you think worked from what you heard? And then what questions do you have from Peter around, you know, how they've set it up, what they've done, what are you curious about? So John, if you could take it away in terms of
okay, so
breakout rooms.
Yeah, just for those who have not been into breakout rooms before, this is just somewhere where you'll be speaking with 3 other people. And so it's quite nice if you can put your video on for them so they can see you as well. And you're going to answer the questions. I'm just going to put the questions into the chat now. Just done that, and let's send those to you. So you should be able to see in the chat what impressed you about what Cantu have done, what clues tell you this is solution focus flavor, etc. Okay, if you have problems in the breakout room, you can raise a flag to me, raise the red flag for the lifeguard, and we will come to the rescue. So please, if you have any issues in your breakout room, just ask the host for help. Okay, so you're going into the room now. Annette, I thought 10 minutes would be good to answer these kind of questions. And
yeah, that's great.
Enjoy the breakout room, everyone. Enjoy the breakout room. So here we go. Please join the rooms so that you actually get into the room. So you'll see a pop-up, just join the room. Alan, are you going to join the room? So.
All right.
Sorry,
and John's going to
sorry about that, but we won't go on to those topics. Let's stick with the good stuff. Oh, hello, John.
Just ignore me.
Oh, okay. You and your cat. Nice cat.
Mm.
Nice pussy, John.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay, cool. So where are the questions? I need to find the chat.
What impressed you? First question, what clues do you, what clues tells you it was SF? What do you think worked? And I didn't get the last one. What questions?
Any questions for Peter?
Right.
Oh, okay, yeah. Whew, where to start? I was in tears watching that, actually. I was in tears.
When you know the size of the surf, it's absolutely amazing what they do.
God.
Absolutely amazing.
I know that part of the world. You know, my best friend lives in Sydney. I've been there several times. You know, I remember.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. Yes. And how about you, Christian?
Yes.
So I'm also guilty of the course with Petra, but in Timișoara, in my hometown. We organized with a group of people here a conference in 2018 in Timișoara, the Soul Sea conference.
So it's about people supporting you to get there, which I think was a really powerful tool, especially when you're doing things like that for raising money and just personal journeys, having those people surrounding you.
Yep. And there's a few things on that video that are a little bit outdated, actually. Since then, we've raised another $6.5 million for cancer research, which has been really exciting. But that's become pretty difficult in the last few weeks, unfortunately. But the good times will come back eventually.
Yourself to be guided, but also holding back and stepping with, and just that whole sensitivity of how someone was comfortable being held in a dance, because it was a very intimate dance position. And it was a lovely example of coach and coachee, and being very aware of how the coachee was ready to move, as the coach was actually your responsibility. It wasn't about pushing, it wasn't about shoving, it was about moving with, but support. It was exactly that. You just reminded me, thank you. And as you say, that's the mentor kind of thing, isn't it? It's a kind of being ready but not shoving.
And I guess that's what brings about that, what they talked about, the personal transformation, that it wasn't put on you. You, as you were saying, Danielle, it came from within. And Sarah, that person guiding but not telling you, and you're finding that your steps. I think that transformation was very powerful.
Something to me as well about the celebration, the noticing people's improvements, the celebrating with them, noticing the differences and marking the differences for them. So there's a real kind of making the scale and the improvements very visible, but also very acknowledged. It's that witnessing for other people, I think, as well. That's very, I'm not sure that's SF particularly, but that to me is a powerful part of what was going on. The acknowledgement. So you could regard it as compliments or, identifying sources almost in that way.
But it's kind of, it's scaling as well, I think, because it's, it's noticing where you are from a, on a continuum of, from not, not being able to swim for, in the young guy's example, to being able to do an ocean swim, and I think quite often when we're doing these things on our own, we don't notice those scales. So when someone else is there and noticing, so I think it's SF in that way, that it's noticing the scale, helping the individual to see the progress.
I think that's one reason sport actually is so good for so many people, because there's so many ways of measuring, whether it's a heart rate monitor, you're timing yourself, there's distance, in itself as an activity.
Imagine that other people would have given up, and that just continued. Wow.
Yeah, that's
They also invited us to think about questions for Peter.
what clues tell us? Shall we write it down in the chat? It seems that we have to write it down in the chat.
Okay.
It says something like clues.
What you just said, Stefan, the unconditional belief that the client has the ability.
If you just copy them into the chat as well, so copy them and then paste them into the main session chat. Otherwise, you'll lose them. They won't. Your breakout chat doesn't go into the main room. So.
Also, but it's the Zoom chat group where I posted. I think this works as well. I will try. I will copy it. Unconditional.
Do you want me to write?
Yeah, you can write if you
Okay.
want. Unconditional belief that the client has the resources.
Yeah.
To make.
Working with children and their parents.
Excellent. That's fantastic.
My background, I'm social focus practitioner for 4 years.
Okay. So over to you in terms of, you know, what were you impressed with? Any response to any of the questions? We'll do the open questions in a moment in terms of questions to Peter, but what were you impressed with in what you saw or what heard from the story? Julia, do you want to sort of share what you've written in the chat for everyone? Unmute.
We were thinking about clues that tell us the similarities between Cantu movement and solution focused. And we said it's the unconditional belief that the client has the resources to make it happen, the small steps. The story of really impressed us very much. He couldn't swim 50 meters and then he swam 1 kilometer. So there were so many people believing in him, believing in his abilities to do that.
Yes.
And the group very often seems to have the magnifying glasses on of looking for the other people's strength. Yes.
Yeah, good pickup. Yeah. So what group were you in, Julia? Do you remember seeing your group name, a number?
It was, no, I don't remember the number. I remember the names. It was Stefan.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, so maybe we go to another group in this, the second question, which was, get my notes. We sort of did clues then. What about other things that impressed you about Cantu as what they've set up here?
The group that I was in, and thank you for the opportunity. It's my first time joining. The group that I was in, the discussion was really, really good. Like, in just talking about it in general, solution focused approaches. You know, there was the mention of the breaking the swim down into the small steps. You know, getting through the breakers for the start, and the mentors, and just the general support, right through to the the community building and empowerment of people was really impressive.
Yeah.
And it was good being part of a group too. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. So what do you think worked? Oh, sorry, who was that? I can't.
That was just me, just to say John Teager's got some as well. You might want to ask John. So.
All right, John.
Yeah, I was in the Romanian group with Christian and Alina, I think it was, and fortunately we did it in English. They were very kind to me. One of the keywords that came out, I think, mainly from Christian, was how non-judgmental it was. You know, you can often, in community engagement, you could find yourself in sports teams or whatever, things that are generally a little bit competitive, and people could tend to be a little bit judgmental. But this was very supportive of people. There was that belief that people could do things. They didn't judge how quickly you went. You know, it was small step at a time. Trying to identify and realize people's inner strengths, and then helping them to activate those strengths, if you like, to achieve what they were trying to achieve. And it was different. What was trying to be achieved was different for every person. But there was a sense of connection. We get connection through work. We get connection through family. And what Cantu had done has created a connection through community. And you could see that in the faces, actually. So yeah, it was really good. Christian,
Thanks,
you want
John.
to add?
Yeah, and I building on what John said, another thing is that with all the support and all the understanding and all the coaching, you cannot swim for someone else. So I think there's another parallel where we can support you, we can help you if you struggle, but you have to go in your own speed and swim for yourself. And I think that's another the counterbalance of all the support and understanding, that you have to get out of your comfort zone to be able to swim. And I also mentioned in the group that we have such a group in Timișoara, in my city, that also does marathons and supports a lot of NGOs. They are not orange, they are yellow. And this is another sign, a proud, let's say, nod on the street if you saw someone wearing that colored t-shirt. And I think we don't have the ocean, but we can run on the streets. So I really enjoyed the video and the story. Thank you.
Great, you're welcome. Just to clarify one thing, at the actual event swims, if people were still feeling a bit nervous, a mentor or a coach could swim with them and just go at their pace. Yeah, and that happened quite a bit for some people who are still very scared of doing the actual event. Okay, so your questions for Peter, we can just open this up now. And maybe it might be helpful if you put your questions in the chat room, and then I know who's got what questions. So let's just spend a moment, and if you have any questions, just jot them down in the chat room, and then we can ask Peter. Or if anyone just wants to put their hand up straight away, wants to go first, that would be helpful as well. What questions?
Just I can put my hand up.
Great.
As I said, there must be a kind of a resource gossiping, because it's not one-off It's not a one-off event. So something must happen that, you know, the spirit and the idea and whatever it is shared. Something positive which is shared, which makes such a, you know, which attracts such a huge crowd and so many people.
Yes.
So something
Yes.
must happen there, something positive, very positive there.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want to answer that, Peter, in terms of what happens, in terms of the positivity?
How do you do it?
Just unmute yourself, Peter.
There's actually a number of things which hopefully people are interacting with all at the same time, but at the very least they always get a few of them. Certainly there is the sense of achievement, and there's the sense of personal growth, the sense of community as well, and also the sense of giving back. So someone has, I guess, done those things. They've really, there is somewhat a transaction that's taking place as well. So I've certainly done some Cantu programs myself. So I have, the transaction has been that I have certainly got healthier and fitter and improved myself and developed a new life skill. I've met some really nice people and had a sense of place, I guess. And but in response, I've also given back and fundraised for cancer research. That's made me feel good as well at the same time. But ultimately, it has helped Cantu to make some relatively large investments, over $1 million per annum, into cancer research. So that's probably the four key ones. Yeah.
Thanks, Stefan. Peter, there is another question, which is from Carey. What do you see that sustains Cantu over time? Is it an altruistic goal?
What sustains us is more so, and I guess I've always thought this, but it has come to mind far more strongly in recent weeks with the COVID-19 crisis, because our sole focus at Cantu Foundation since March, it's always been this, but our really single focus is community. We've identified that that's the strong part right from the start, and without community, we can't develop momentum, we can't raise funds for cancer research, and without that community, we don't have that impact of getting people fit and healthy and active as a community. So, and of course, without that community, you're actually you're losing the culture and the values of Cantu. So that would be really that's what sustains Cantu. That's what's going to get us through this COVID-19 crisis, and that's what's going to sustain us into the future and help us grow and help us keep doing what we're doing. And custodians of Cantu, just like myself, are the ones responsible for maintaining that culture and those values to ensure that community is sustained.
So another question from Carolyn, it's just gone up, is is there a particular age group that you notice is attracted to Cantu?
Yeah, there's, I'll give you our exact median participant, but we attract a variety of people from 17 and 18 years of age right up to 81 or 2 years of age. So the whole...
Peter, we lost your sound. Peter, we've lost your sound. Peter, oh, we can't hear you, Peter. Peter.
No sound.
No sound, Peter. We can't hear you. Peter, your sound, we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
I'll send him a message to let him know.
Are you back on, Peter?
John, you can try to mute him, or maybe he will.
He's not on mute, so
No. You can mute him. And,
Okay, and unmute again. Unmute again, Peter. Okay, try now.
I don't know why it does that. Where was I up to?
I don't know.
We missed everything from the start, Peter. You went into mute just literally on this question. So ask the question again, Annette.
Well,
so we can, for the recording, we can.
Well, the age. What's the average age?
It was amazing.
So yeah, so from 18-year-olds to 81-year-olds. Yeah. Okay, another question is, let me just scroll up.
One from Yoram.
Yes, how was the different roles of the mentors and team organised? Yeah, that was sort of a question I had of Annie, of like, how did you come up with all these different roles?
Yeah, they were basically the team captain is the leader, the general manager of the team, the main sort of leader, I guess. The mentor is really designed to assist and support that role of team captain, essentially, so that because particularly with the larger groups, there is there's quite a responsibility for the team captain. So then to support them with we call it the leadership team, with at least one mentor and quite often two mentors as well. We're able to then ensure that there's that, some might call it a hierarchy, but essentially it's a leadership team to ensure that we're able to support the number of participants in the team, in the group, or the pod that we call them, and ensure that everyone's supported to an adequate level.
So Peter, maybe it'd be good to explain. So the swimming program over summer for the big swim, how many swimmers and how many, they're called pods. So people in different areas across Sydney were involved, and out of Sydney as well. So how many all up, how many pods were there and how many swimmers were in?
So for the summer swim program, which went from November, December, January, and was the event. The goal event was the big swim that Annette was talking about. Just over 500 people participated in that program. 21 training groups, and that essentially meant that there was 55 to 60 people supporting that, volunteers, just like Annette, as team captains and mentors, supporting that program to help those people reach their goals. On top of that, though, there was 21 or 22 coaches to support all of those groups, and then a couple of different champions as well, who essentially are roving inspiration and engagement people who support people in the right ways at the right times.
So this one's from Julia. To what extent do you attract young people who lack hope into their future, maybe have challenges with drugs, etc.?
There are a few people like that in that demographic that we do attract. There isn't a huge area, so that's certainly an opportunity for Cantu to certainly grow and expand in the future. Certainly, we do get a lot of people that have had a lot of different areas of mental health challenges, and that is certainly a consistent theme there. But certainly, there is definitely that opportunity to perhaps develop a slightly different offering for the younger audience and teenage audience more so.
Thanks, Peter. And this one's from Sarah. Peter, you used the phrase custodians of Cantu. What do you see yourself as a custodian of?
Well, I've worked for a number of not-for-profits and charities in my career, and I always see myself as the person who's able to lead the organisation and essentially leave it stronger than when I first started. So it is about, I do definitely see myself as a custodian, and so it's really a custodian of the community and the custodian of the values and the culture, and knowing that that's being essentially protected and there's growth occurring and enhancements, then we're going to be stronger and stronger going forward. But of course, there's you've still got to be the custodian of ensuring that the finances and all the other bits and pieces of any organisation are stronger going forward as well. So there's lots of pieces to the puzzle.
And we might make this the last question, which is it all based on volunteering work?
No, so it is. We do have a professional team behind the organisation. Very strong level of volunteer support. Thousands and thousands and thousands of professional volunteer hours per annum. But we do have a team of 10 staff, which is about a full-time equivalent of 7.5 that work around the year to ensure that we're able to deliver these programs as successfully and as professionally as possible. So it is a little bit of both. It's not just 100% volunteering.
I forgot there's one more question, which is from Nick Vito. What difference do others see in you, one as a person, as a result of this involvement? I might give that one a go.
Yeah.
Do you want me to give that one a go, Peter?
Yeah.
I feel like I could do anything now. Like no challenge is too big for me now, I think, because I've been able to achieve that distance in swimming in conditions that were pretty scary, but yeah, it's like it gives you a sense of courage and to tackle anything. And plus, there's sharks, and that was the first things that used to go through my head when we were training. It was like, I'd see a shadow and I'd, get really scared. But now I don't even think about it being out there. And so, yeah, I think the bravery and courage that it instills in people, that's what you would notice from being involved in it.
Definitely
Did
agree.
you want to add, Peter? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was just signing up to the marathon program at the moment. So I'll get that sorted out for you, and the 10-kilometre swim next year as well. So we can.
I don't think I got a marathon in me. I said I was brave, but really, no, not for a marathon. So I'm conscious of time. There was just a couple of more things I'd like you to talk to, Peter, if that's okay. I'll share my screen again, which is that of what Annie spoke about, which is the values and the culture that's created. And do you want to, just talk quickly to those in terms of the values and why were they selected? Can you hear us? Peter, I was wanting you to respond. Can you hear me, Peter?
Yeah, he's not on mute.
Okay, we can't hear you, Peter. Okay, you're back now. Can you see my screen? You there, Peter? No, I think he's. No, we can't hear you, Peter. Can't hear you. Try now.
Yep, I can hear you.
Great. Can you just talk to the values and the culture piece?
Yeah, certainly. So we, as an organisation, we are very, very strong on the culture and the values. We've got those 4 key values that Annette's mentioned: inspire, motivate, support, and empower. And we have a lot of areas that describe our culture. We, it is about fun, it's about fitness, it's about friends, giving back, personal growth and transformation, learning, resilience, nurturing. So many words describes our culture, but what we really do is not just talk about culture and write it in our annual report and talk about it on fancy videos and put it on our website. We do have it on our wall at the office, but we really do live by those. We have it on the agenda of our board meetings. We have it at we talk about it at our staff meetings. We try to always recognise and understand how people are exhibiting and living by those values, and we recognise people for doing that as well, not just staff but participants and volunteers, the team captains and mentors. And we included in our interview questions, for example, when we're hiring staff, we included in performance reviews of staff, and we put it in. We really do instill it into all areas of the organisation, and that's something that's quite important to us, and it guides us in our decision making as well. So we think how. This decision, how is it going to instill the values and strengthen or raise an awareness and exhibit the values of Cantu in the best way? So it is. It's quite positive actually. That I've certainly been connected to and involved in some organisations in the past that talk about values, but Cantu, very, very genuinely does talk about them. But we also we do play by them, and we exhibit them and adhere to them on a daily basis.
Thanks, Peter. So to wrap up, I wanted to read this to you, and this came from a friend of mine who was in the program, and this is Mel, one of the coaches, and she was my coach as well. And this is what this participant Joe wrote in, and Cantu does community awards, people who display the Cantu spirit. And this is Mel. Mel is a legend. Mel coached my first Cantu experience last year. She was so motivating and inclusive, with constant encouragement. That great smile greeted us every Wednesday and Saturday. Mel swam with whoever needed a helping hand. This year, I came back with Mel as my coach again. I was determined and very nervous about the 2.8 kilometre Palm to Whale Beach swim. She offered to swim with me right away. On the day, Mel had already swum with another Cantuer and was encouraging us all from the minute we hit the beach. She told the gang of us where to start the race and then called 3, 2, 1 under to get under through the waves. Mel never stopped calling to me, swimming back to check on others coming back and calling encouragement. I wouldn't have been able to do it without her. So many people have been touched by Mel's generous spirit, big smile and loud supportive voice. Mel will battle the waves with you, swim and support anyone that needs it. Thanks, Mel, you are awesome and a Cantu inspiration. So John, I'd like you to put everyone back into a breakout room, just 3 people per room. Imagine if we had organisations that had all these people that were there to support you to be the best you can be and achieve your goals, like having a leader, a coach, a mentor, a team captain, champions, and each of your colleagues looking out for you to grow and achieve amazing things. Yeah, imagine what organisations would look like if they had those elements in them. So I want you to just have a really brief 2-minute conversation in breakouts with groups of 3. Is that possible to have that in an organisation?
Yep, I've done that already. I'm going to have to do it again because a couple of people have just dropped out. So
sure.
Excuse me while I have to do that. In the meantime, I put what you asked for into the chat. But I'm just going to recreate the rooms again with the numbers we now have. So
thanks.
All right. So please join the rooms. Join the rooms. Then we lost another one, I think, just as that happened. But so please join the rooms.
Good to see you again too.
Hi, John. Are you joining our group?
Hello. Ignore me. I'm just coming in just to see how things are. So.
Okay. So, have you already sent the question, John?
It's in chat.
Yeah.
I think it's a one-word answer for me. It would be absolutely fantastic. So, be an awesome place to work. So,
yeah. And I think it would be an organization where people really had the opportunity to grow their potential and show their potential and really contribute to the overall success of the organization.
Yeah, it's inspiring to know that there's an organisation that can adopt, the solution-focused model and bring it in for the benefit of, the staff, everyone that's involved in the organisation. It's fantastic.
I think too, it's those values actually encourage people to look for their best, so to present their best.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
And be creative about how they apply that.
And I can't help feeling that at the moment we're seeing, certainly in Britain, those values coming out in so many places, people inspiring people, supporting people, and doing all those things. And it would just be wonderful to believe that that could happen, carry on happening afterwards, after the crisis.
Yes,
John.
That would truly be inspirational, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, it's seeing the same sort of community and societal shifts as well over in Australia too, which is encouraging. So hopefully they've got super glue on them.
Yeah, the trick is to harness it and bottle it and keep it going.
Yes.
I think everybody of us, we can contribute in taking all the beautiful things that are happening right now into the post-corona time. So and by just doing small steps, I think we can't change society all at once, and we can do it day by day, very tiny little steps.
Yeah.
That's well put, Julia, because we can all be agents for change, can't we? In our own way. It's got to start somewhere. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave you now, and if you can all return to the main session.
So just to finish up, are there any final comments that people would like to make about
I might make a really quick one. Thank you very much for inviting me to be part of it, Annette. Really appreciate it. And Cantu is always looking for ways to improve and strengthen. So if you've thought of any amazing ideas in our discussion tonight, then yeah, certainly send them through to Annette or John, and I'd be very pleased to hear those ideas.
Please do. So Annette, we like to end with a solution focus thank you from people. So to give affirmations to Peter and Annette. So can I ask you please just to say thank you. What did you get out of this? Whatever you like to say to Peter and Annette, to say thank you for coming along and spending time with us and talking to us about this inspirational organisation.
Just just to say thank you. This was well worth getting up for, well worth attending. I'm totally inspired. Faith in humanity restored, and beyond impressed. Yeah, incredible. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Someone else?
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute. Thank you so much for the presentation, and thank you for the opportunity to come along. As I said, I'm a first-time visitor, and I certainly would like to come back again. So thank you all.
Please do, Martin. Please do.
I'll just say thank you. The reason I asked about the word custodian, to me, it's certainly in British English, it has a sense of being responsible that doesn't belong to you. And that's what struck me. There's something in this organisation that's very special.
Yeah.
And everybody takes responsibility for looking after that. And that's why I think your point about living the culture and checking the culture on a daily basis and how it goes through all your processes, really powerful. Thank you. For me, as a culture person.
I'd like to thank Annette for her courage to talk about her own personal journey through Cantu, and when she talked about what difference is that sense of courage to do anything, and I think that's what these sorts of programs do. And I just want to thank both of you very, very much for being brave enough or whatever to come out and just tell us that. Thank you. Big thank you.
Thanks.
And so we've got a few from people in the chat as well. Thank you for sharing. From Stefan, thank you for sharing and the inspiration, how organisations could look like. Inspirational story from Jackie. Thank you for, sorry, Julia, thanks for this session and the wrap-up session at the end, collecting the gold nuggets and discussion, how to, and the trouble with chat is it keeps jumping out of your vision, and how to put it into practice. So thank you, Julia, for that. And we've got Danielle Custers. Thank you, Annette, for sharing your inspirational story. Thank you, Danielle, from me as well. And nice to meet people from all over the world. So indeed. So I think at that point, and sorry, I just saw David saying, Annette, you now have 14 months to prepare a new presentation for Sydney in July 2021. So enjoy that. So I would just like to say a huge thank you to Annette and to Peter. Thank you, Annette, for all the work you put into what was a lovely presentation, I have to say. A really beautiful presentation. Peter, thank you very much indeed. I'm sure you're busy even in this COVID time, or even more so maybe at this COVID time. And I wish you all the very best with raising funds for your organisation. Thank you everyone for taking the time to attend. As you know, as I say, we run Fika every Thursday at 10 o'clock UK time, 7 o'clock Australia time, and you're very welcome to join that. You can find details of that on our SFIO LinkedIn site. Please don't get the Indians Serious Fraud Investigation Organisation, because they're not us. And you can find us on Facebook as well. So please look into that. This Sunday, we're celebrating SF World Day, Solution Focus World Day. There's things happening all over the world online. And we would like to invite you to our fika on Sundays. So come along with a cup of coffee, a glass of wine if you're in Australia, and just join in for 2 hours. We've got lots of different activities, SF activities, fun activities, music. So it's 2 hours of just enjoying ourselves and forgetting the crisis, fika the crisis, as we say. So again, thank you very much indeed, everyone. Annette, Peter, once again, and goodbye. See you Sunday. Those who will be here on Sunday. So, and big round of applause to the speakers. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. See you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much, Peter.
Yeah, thanks, Annette. That was good. It's really, really positive to be a part of. So I appreciate that. Certainly, it's always good to hear some of those little highlights and gold nuggets that come out of it for people to understand where we need to be focusing on all the time.
Yeah.